Hey guys, my name is David Miller. I am the Collections Care Technician here at Vizcaya Museum and Gardens. And right now we are standing in the breakfast room. We're here to do a little mini tour and to celebrate the reopening of the second floor. It's going to be the first time that this is open in quite some time. So in the breakfast room, which is kind of one of my favorite rooms, I think one of the more impressive rooms here at Vizcaya. It was called the breakfast room, but the name is a little contrary to what James Deering, the owner of Vizcaya, actually used it for. He preferred to eat most of his meals in here, and looking around, it's really not hard to see why. It's a very impressive room. There's a lot of cool little details and objects in here, which visitors can actually walk right up to and see, because the breakfast room is one of the rooms on the second floor in which visitors can kind of freely roam and take as close of a look as they might like.
Okay.
So
I'm going to pan around real quick just so that people can see, because I know that's the favorite part of the live. So this is what the breakfast room looks like. And if anybody has any questions throughout this tour, just leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to let David know.
So we're going to talk about some of the objects and things like that later, but first let's get into a little bit about general information about the breakfast room. As I mentioned, James Deering, the owner of Vizcaya, preferred to eat most of his meals in here, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, the kitchen is actually right over there, and so you can imagine that it would have been a bit of a smaller wait for the food for him and his guests. And also, in the breakfast room, we have a great south-facing view of our formal gardens. Now, today, these window walls don't open anymore, but in James Deering's time, you could actually push these walls into the wall, and this whole room would kind of be a large open-air balcony, or what we call a loggia, which we have a couple here at Vizcaya. So if you can imagine just sitting in this room and eating your meal, and you're just here taking a look at our beautiful formal gardens and the breeze is coming in, it would have been a really great place to have a meal. Now, in addition to that, there was also a player piano under this room in a closet that could actually be played while people were eating in here, and the sound would be piped up into here. So not only do you have this great view, a nice breeze, great food, but you also have really nice music being played in this room.
If I remember correctly, the music actually comes in through that vent right there, which you might not notice.
Now, one of the most striking aspects of the breakfast room would be these wall-to-wall murals that we have here. Now, taking a look at these murals, you might think that they were actually, painted here at Vizcaya. It would have been hard to, bring paintings in and have them fit into these walls, but that's exactly what happened. These were actually a set of 11 panels painted by the French artist Adrien Manglard. Now, he painted mostly marine landscapes and painted them in the 18th century. So long before Vizcaya was built or James Deering was alive, these paintings existed. They were actually sold to the Prince Rispoli of Cerveteri, Italy. So they have a little bit of a historical provenance that we feel lucky to have them here at Vizcaya. Now, Adrien Manglard also had paintings commissioned for all kinds of European royalty, like the King of Sardinia and Philip, the Duke of Parma. So I always think that it's kind of a cool thing that we have such kind of legitimate European art here. And it's right here in the breakfast room for any visitors to come and take as close of a look as they would like. As you can see, there's lots of dramatic marine landscapes painted all around the room. There's battles going on, there's people frolicking in the water, there's capsized ships. So it's a very dramatic setting for James Deering and his guests to eat their meals in. Now, contrary to the French origin of these paintings all around the wall, this room is actually done in something more of an Asian style. It was actually done in what's called the chinoiserie style, which is a European reinterpretation of Asian decoration styles. And so all around the room we kind of have different either actually Asian art pieces or Asian inspired art pieces. one of the coolest Asian art pieces that we have here are these large bowls. Now, these porcelain bowls are from the Ming era in China, and that would be right around the 16th century. And these bowls are actually marked with the 6-character mark of the Emperor Jia, who was the 12th emperor of the Ming dynasty. So we would guess that they have some connection to that Chinese emperor, which again is always kind of a really impressive, interesting thing for us to have here at Vizcaya. And more of our Asian art pieces that we have on display in this room would be, for example, this figurine that sits right here on the table. Now, this is actually a figurine of a star god named Shao Xing, and he was the god of longevity. And this is probably from around the 17th century, and again is genuinely Asian inspired. And, sorry, genuine Asian. Now, something that's Asian inspired would be these terracotta figures that we have here. Now, these were actually made in Europe, but it's hard to look at them and not imagine, you know, the grand terracotta armies that ancient terracotta armies that people found in China. So all of these things together kind of combine to make this room, you know, a really interesting combination of European styles, Asian styles, and also, you know, a little bit of that kind of American eclecticism that brought together all of these things, which is the case for a lot of different pieces here at Vizcaya.
Awesome. So we're going to address some of the comments real quick. We got a couple of comments from Maite Bordas, and one of them was about the tea house. She's wondering if the tea house is ever going to get repaired and get its trellis roof back.
Yes, actually, there's good news about that. I don't have an exact date on the tea house reopening, but there's been a lot of really great progress made there, and actually, if you come to Vizcaya today, the tea house is, you can actually view it. The trellis is repaired. You can't actually go into it yet, but there's been some really good progress made, and it's actually available for viewing. The trellis is back on. So we hope to have that open to the public again shortly.
Yeah, the date that I've heard is kind of end of July.
Okay.
So as soon as we have a more firm date, we'll be sure to share that. And Maite, I'll send you a link to our tea house restoration video that shows you the process that went through. Let's see. Celia says she loves Vizcaya, which is always nice to hear.
Love to hear that.
Let me see. Mari, sorry, these keep scrolling on me. Sorry, guys. Okay, Mari Fernanda said that she recently went to the Deering estate and didn't know that it was connected to Vizcaya.
Yeah, actually, so Miami was kind of the stomping ground of the whole Deering family. William Deering, the father of both James Deering, the owner of Vizcaya, and Charles Deering, the owner of the Deering estate, had an estate down here as well. And both of his sons made very impressive estates down here. So there's the Deering estate and there's Vizcaya here, and you know, they are both connected, yes.
Awesome. So thank you everybody for watching and being here with us today. If you have any other questions, or if you don't catch this live and catch the replay, just leave your questions in the comments, and we will be back to answer them. In the meantime, the second floor does reopen June 17th. So we hope that you will come and see this beautiful place in person. You can buy your tickets at vizcaya.org/welcome. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.